Right, today I've got the microphone here and I've got some light on the scene, so the illuminations are quite good. Now we're going to look at the annual test on the camping car today. Motorbike's got to wait a little while because we just might want to go out in the camping car. Other countries call it a motorhome. You know, it's a big van with a bed and all kinds of stuff. Take it home with you. It's like a big snail on wheels. So it hasn't been out for nearly a year. Its test ran out in July. So we're just going to have a look at it and make sure that there's nothing silly needs doing to it before we take it off for its annual test. It's September now and the weather's cooling off nicely. It's quite likely we shall want to use it soon. We do find we're using it more in the winter time here in France because it's cooler and it's got heating and everything, so that doesn't bother us so much. In the hot weather though, it just gets too hot. You can't breathe inside it. So here we are, a quick look at the camping car and its tests, and there's a few notes about things to remember when you take your vehicle for its annual test. Now it's a pretty grey and grismal day outside today, so everything's sopping wet in the garden, pouring with rain all night, and we had a thunderstorm yesterday evening, so we're going to go inside and have a look at the camping car. Now it hasn't been anywhere for almost a year. It's just in here, look, in the shed. So its test run out now. It ran out in July, so before we go anywhere it needs to be retested. Now here in France the tests are every 2 years. If it's a commercial vehicle used commercially, it's every year. Ordinary cars and private vehicles, which is what the camping car is, 2 years. So we're going to have a quick look at it. I've done a checklist. We're going to open the doors, let a bit more daylight in, and probably back it out so we can see things a bit more clearly. And we'll see about opening the doors first. Oh, we've got the dogs here with us. Now, there's a few things to move. I've been repairing Ruth's rabbit. You can see it here. It's a garden. Hi, Mongo. It's a garden rabbit. It's been in the garden off and on for a long time. Hey, I don't know. We bought it over 40 years ago, and it's in need of repair. So it's been repaired. I've just been putting some filler in it. I want sanding down. Move him out of the way. Let's open the doors. Hi Mum, you're helping, are you, Mum? We're going to look at your camping car today. Yeah, so are you going to be inside and help us? He loves the camping car. This will be in the way. Go anywhere. Before we go anywhere, I'd cripple that lot down. Look at that. I'll get somebody to cut it down. I'm not going to have you watching that. It's too boring. Well, now that took a bit longer than I expected. I ended up by chopping this hedge down, the edges, because the camping car couldn't get out because it's overgrown so much. I should have to do this one next and that to get it past, and then I ended up, I cut that ivy down, and then we went along, and of course it trailed along the ground and it went onto here behind this little thing for putting plants in, and I've dug it all out from under here. It gets under your feet. If you don't watch out, it grows out, and then you get your feet tangled in it and you come a cropper. Speaking from experience about that, watch out for Virginia creeper and ivy growing along the ground. As you get older, it can catch you unawares when you're walking along, and well, it put me in hospital for a day and umpteen stitches in my head. So there we are. Right, let's see about the camping car now. Now we're going round to look at the battery. You might have mentioned on the previous video, I told you that I'd had to buy a new battery for this because the old one had conked. We hadn't had it very long. put some light on. There we are. I hadn't had the battery very long, and a couple of years, and of course in that time we hadn't been anywhere much, and the engine hadn't turned over much, and so the battery gave up. So here's a new one. It cost quite a lot. It's an AGM battery this time, so I'm hoping it'll last a bit longer. You know, it's a, what's it, glass mat or something. It's supposed to last longer. There's the engine. It's a Peugeot J5, J5. J in French is pronounced G, and of course Sank 5. Now, it's a 2.5 litre diesel, 4-cylinder, good old clunker. We've had it, the camping car, probably 12, 13 years now. Bought it second hand. It does us. It's quite old. It's I think it's 29 years old. But it's got everything you want. Right, battery's in there. I struck it up yesterday and it went. So we're going to just shut the bonnet down and back it out a bit so we can see what needs doing. Just check things like lights and stuff like that. We'll just slip the bonnet down. I'll lift it up. Whoop. And just lay it down gently. There we are. Of course it's left on drive. Right, well, what's down this side? Let's have a little look, see if there's anything in the way. It's pretty clear at the top. Look at the cobwebs everywhere. Look in the top. The cobwebs are all in the top there. One's a good wash. There's the store, the side blind. And wing mirror. Yeah, okay. Nothing behind, so we'll, without more ado, we'll get in and strike it up. Just up into the cab. It's not as big as some of the more modern vehicles. Yeah, that's sat there. A straight. No, it's not as big as some of the more modern ones, but it's a smart little vehicle. Inside lights on there. Key, column change, normal gear. Here we go. Now, super, isn't it? Let it idle a minute, then we'll. Handbrake off, handbrake at the side. First time it's moved for nearly a year. See the mirror at the back. Oh, Mongo's here. We're out in the open. Come in, Mongo. Come in this way. You go in. Come on. You go in your seat. Come on, off you go. Come on, then. In you go, mate. In you go. Mongo, in you go, mate. There we are. You get in your seat. That's where it sits. That's its hole. The library's up here. I built all this when we first arrived. Don't worry about the sag. It's been like that for 20 years. That's our shredder. You've seen that on the video. It's a wood chipper, so it keeps it nice inside the camping car. Great believer in keeping things under cover if you can. Right, let's have a look. We're going to look at the mileage first of all and see how many miles it's done since its last test. It's 2 years ago. He's here. Look, he's in his house. Right. Oh. What does it say? 213051 and 213. It's due 2,000 miles, nearly 2,500. It's 213,000 and 51. So it's 211,500 at its last test. So it's done, I don't know, 1,500, that's all. 2,500, there we are. That's not a lot in a year, is it? 2 years. 2 years. Mind you, I've been 6 months ill. Been these last 6 months. Right, checklist, here we are. Right, camping car checklist. Side lights, parking lights, headlamp, dipped, indicators, hazards, handbrake, tyres, windscreen wipers, windscreen washer, battery security, seat belts and horn. That'll do for a start. Where are we going to put this? We'll put it there. Okay. Let's start with lights. And so far so good on the list. Side lights, okay. Parking lights. The parking lights come on when the ignition is not on. Headlamps, dipped headlamps. Now we're going to do indicators, okay. Yeah, we're going to do hazards now. Last test we had a problem with the hazards. I thought it was a relay, deep inside the wonders of behind all this lot. And I actually bought a relay and it cost a fortune. Replaced it. Wasn't the relay. It was this little Johnny. The switch. Well, that looks alright. Look at there. We've got it's flashing. Yep. Put round the back. Hazards. Yeah, very good. Hazards. Good. Right. While we're in here, horn. Good. Right, we can check that off. Indicators, hazards, horn. Handbrake we've got on, it's holding us. We'll look at the tyres in a minute. Windscreen wipers and washers. I'm going to just do something with the windscreen first before I start the wipers up. Look at that mess. Seat belts. Right, I'll do the windscreen. See you in a minute. Oh. Wipers. Washers. Right. Wipers okay. Washers. Brilliant. That's good. Got some new wiper blades in there as well. Okay. Let's take another one off. Right, while we're in here, let's have a quick look at the internal electrics and see if they work. We've turned the battery's connected. What does this one say? Alright, this should be the water. Alright, it's still working, look. 54 litres of water in the tank. I wouldn't want to drink it, mind. Battery condition 12.5 and 12.6. That's the battery that does the lights and everything at the back. And that's the engine battery. What else we got? Now we've got controls here. Lights. Water pressure. And that's the outside lights. Let's see if we've got the water pumps working. Can you hear it? Well, that's all right. Toilet. It's clean in it. Oop, yep, that's the toilet pump. Did you hear it working? Okay, the toilet is So if we were going out, then we've got water going down the toilet to flush it, so that works all right. That's pretty useful. You know, it's pretty important. Round to the sink, the tap here on the sink has always been a problem here. It's a replacement and it swivels, but it's a bit tight, and if you don't watch out it undoes itself as it's swivelling. I have to check that before we go, but to actually do anything with it, all this sink's got to come out. It's not too great a job really, except you've got to disconnect the drain under here from inside here. It's a bit of a problem, but not too difficult. Old type windows, you notice modern caravan windows open outwards with a couple of sticks at the side here, you know, and then you hold them, and they've got like a seal around. They open on the top hinge, modern caravans, and they're a bucket of stick though, you know, and they get all gummed up around the bottom here. Anyway, these are sliders, and you see this ordinary sliding windows, and the seals are nearly gone in here, but they're a lot better, a lot more solid. We like them. And it's the bed here. Wants a good tidy up. But I say it hasn't been out for a year. Cobwebs outside. Nice and light. A fixed bed is pretty important. You can leave it there and have a snooze whenever you like. Let's have a look this way around. Ah, here's my friend. It's my assistant co-pilot. Hi mate. Mongo in his seat. He loves this place. He rides around in here. He'll go anywhere. He's waiting for it to go now. Are you, Mongo? Waiting for it to go. Yes, right. Okay, well, I think that conducts the test with regard to checking things before we take it for its test, except for the tyres. I'm going to nip round and just check the tyres and the pressures. And then when Ruth wants to decide to go off somewhere, if she decides to go in October or something like that, we ought to get it tested. I've only got to ring up and 2 or 3 days before. If it doesn't pass here in France, then you've got 2 months to get it right, unless it's something really serious and it has to come off the road. But if it doesn't pass and it's just something that needs repairing, you've got 2 months to do it. And during those 2 months you can use it, which is pretty handy. Last time, I hadn't got the battery sufficiently secure. I'll go and show you. Now I've got the light on the job. There's the battery, engine compartment, bonnet's up, and it's down there. You can see between the power steering reservoir, just here, there's one battery clamp, and it holds the battery on that lip. And just a bit further back, there's a second one, just there, under that cable. Second one. Now last year, the battery is a slightly different size, a little bit narrower than this one, and the clamps weren't quite secure, and they didn't like that. Well, obviously it could wobble about. If you had an accident, the thing could be a bit of a mess, cause short circuits and fires. So I had to build an extension to that, just to widen it a bit, just to cover this lip here and make it secure. Anyway, this year the battery's a bit bigger, and it's clamped in well there, so they'll be happy with that, I'm sure. Right, I've checked the oil. Oil's on the mark, and it's got some of my brother-in-law's. He's a mechanic, special gunk in it. It's good oil, so I suppose you're supposed to change it every year even if you don't do much, but we'll leave it a bit longer. It looks good and it isn't that mucky. We've checked the water reservoir for the washer. It's over half full. Not a good idea to go for your test with an empty washer reservoir. You'll fail. And just for that, it's just a little thing, but it wants checking. I've also done the pressure in the spare wheel while we're at it. And while the bonnet's up, I'm going to just put a bit of lubrication on hinges and locks and things like that, because they haven't been anywhere for 2 years, or much for 2 years. So looking in the engine, I replaced the fuel hose last year. Fuel leak-off hoses were a problem. They look alright at the moment. It isn't long since it had new auxiliary belts on it. Had a new cam belt at 200,000, so it's done 11,000. That's 2017. Gosh, that's 6 years ago. Blinking heck. 6 years ago. Isn't it amazing? Time flies. Would you believe it? And in that time, it's only done 11,000 miles. That should be alright for a bit. Okay, so just have a little look round again. It's going to have a wash soon, and then when you're washing things, of course, you notice things or remember things. Before you take your car for a test, just think, is there anything else you should have done? Just to be sure that it's not going to fail for a silly thing. Right. There we are. I hope you found those little tips useful. Make yourself a list before you check your vehicle, before it goes for its test, and make sure the important things are on the list, and you won't miss anything stupid so it fails for something very silly. If you like our channel, please give us a like, and if you want to subscribe, it helps us with the YouTube people, helps to grow the channel, doesn't cost anything. There we are then, and if you want to look at anything else that Cracker Books publish, don't forget to look at the website www.crackerbooks.fr. Everything's quite free to download. There's complete books, there's all kinds of entertainment there, including of course the YouTube videos. And thank you for being with us today.